Hey there, happy Pride. In this episode, we're going to talk about a bunch of things, but really about like getting back out there after over a year of quarantine and just the strangeness of that.
Welcome to the podcast where it's all about living your love story and making your life and world a story where love wins. My name is Sienna.
And my name is Toast. We've been partners in life, love, and music since 2001. Welcome to our podcast.
You know what's so strange to me?
What?
Is that we've been doing this podcast for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just hard to speak into this microphone. It's so weird. Like if people knew
how
long it takes for me to start talking, I think they'd be surprised.
And sometimes both of us like we hit record and then there's just silence.
What's up with that? I mean, that happens not every single time. It happens when we begin a new batch of podcasts. Mm-hmm. So today today's our day to record several podcasts, and we have not recorded a batch of podcasts for about maybe 3 weeks now.
At least.
Yeah. So always that first one coming back into a batch is always like, is it shyness? Is it just feeling ridiculous because no one else is here but us?
I don't know.
But yet we've been doing this for
funny,
so
though.
long. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's really quite strange.
But I guess it's like working out and you have to warm up, start slow, because this is it's an organic endeavor. It's not like some kind of, flip the switch. No, we're not machines.
Awkward. Okay. Anyways, happy Pride.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, well, I guess not all of a sudden, over the course of how long has it been? 5 to 10 years. Now, June is Pride Month, whereas before it used to be just kind of like the Pride festivals happened during
May, June, July,
around there when the weather's
May, June,
nice
July.
And you can be outdoors, and that's when all the Pride and it would be kind of like a, Pride season, mm-hmm. And you'd have the Long Beach Pride and then LA Pride and the various prides, but now it's June, and
it's a little bit. You know what? I guess everyone wants to spread out the celebrating.
Okay.
So I think because I would always wonder like, well, why isn't Pride Month or Pride season inclusive of October, which houses National Coming Out Day?
Okay.
That's a big day, right? Mm-hmm. So, okay. I mean, that day was claimed for some time now. So it's like, why didn't they build around October?
Well, let's spread it out throughout the year because...
Yes, so I think there's reasons for celebrating because now there's Lesbian Visibility Day. Right. There's all kinds of days to be had.
That one cracks me up.
And I think you can just, like, if you have a love for a day, a love for a reason to celebrate, you can kind of just get your own day out there, make a hashtag, be consistent, spread the word. Our friend Ingrid from The Conscious Cat has created Tortoiseshell Appreciation Day, which is April 16th.
And for people who don't know, tortoiseshell is the term for a type of coat pattern
coloring
that a cat they're not black, they're not calico, they're not white, they're tortoiseshell.
Yeah,
they're a tortoiseshell cat.
It's very specific too. So I don't want us to mess that up. So let's not go into this specificity of a tortoiseshell cat. Anyways, so happy Pride Month.
And happy Pride all year long.
Exactly. I was just about to say there will be someone who will correct you saying that it's not just a month. So thank you, Toast. And I will say that today we are recording this on National Donut Day. So everyone has a day. Everyone has a month. There's a season and a reason and always something to celebrate. So speaking of, Toast just had her birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I don't know why my voice went up like several.
And mine followed yours.
Yes, our birthdays are actually 25 days apart. We're born in the same year, 25 days apart. And celebrating, it's kind of just like a down home, very just
boring
in your house type celebration.
We are really boring.
times.
In many ways, we're very boring lesbians. Like many other low-key, domestic-oriented, soft-spoken,
You know what?
just
We
quiet.
might be boring.
We're not flashing. We're not like out doing shots and dancing on bar top, bar counters. And
Yeah, but you see,
and yet
does that
we're
make
still
things
lesbians.
exciting? I don't necessarily think that all that makes it exciting. But anyways, yeah, we're pretty boring. But I will say that boring is underrated because, if it's kind of boring, hey, be grateful.
That's right. And you are boring too because you're listening to us.
Okay. Anyways,
we should have boring people month, right?
Yes.
Pride in boring.
Or just, you know what? No, not a whole month. Oh, no, actually, no, yeah, a whole month. Because then you really will feel the
Boredom.
boringness of the month. Okay, anyway.
We didn't plan on covering this topic.
All right. So Toast had her birthday. As you know, I had a birthday. I think we had mentioned it. Okay, so for Toast's birthday, we had a lot of different plans, but we are going to, Toast actually would like to start, she's done some research, so we are going to be creating the container garden and doing all kinds of fun things, helping to bring more nature to where we are right now, where we live. So that's exciting. So we're going to be doing that to help celebrate.
Yes.
We did enjoy some Japanese food for Toast's birthday and finally found a pretty good Japanese restaurant. So I'm excited
Decent.
about that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know it could have used some zhuzhing, but it was like, it wasn't, it's worse to me when when something is overly tasty.
Right. Then
when they put too much of the
trying
vinegar.
too hard.
Yeah. I prefer like just go lighter
See, boring.
versus the overly tasty. But for my birthday, when we went to go pick up a cake because it had gotten, I normally just love making my own cake. I actually enjoy it. People are like, you had to make your own cake, but I enjoy it. So it's a pleasure for me. But this year, it was so hectic around my birthday that we decided, let's buy a cake. So, we went to Petunia's, which is a gluten-free vegan bakery in Portland. They make beautiful, delicious goods. And we were really excited to actually go downtown and go and pick up this cake because we really don't go out yet. And so we're driving around then. And here's the thing, too. My birthday, I was born on Mother's Day. Sometimes my birthday actually falls on Mother's Day again. This year it did. Sometimes we forget that. And so we're here thinking excited about going to pick up the cake, and we pass the store and we see a long line. We're like, oh my God, what? We got to stand in that line. So we start looking for parking. We cannot find parking because they closed off part of the street for whatever reason.
Yeah, I didn't see why
what
they
were
were
they
doing that.
doing?
Were they
Yeah.
preparing for construction or preparing for
I don't know.
refreshing the street paint?
But it was giving us Grammy flashbacks. If you heard some of our Grammy podcasts of them actually closing off the street in the late morning, which makes you have to park so far away and trek it in your black tie attire all the way in the sun.
First world problems. Yeah. First of all the one-way streets. For some reason in
my
downtowns,
goodness.
for some reason, I don't understand why, but I would be interested if somebody, a city planning traffic engineer would explain why are there so many one-way streets in downtowns. But that's how it is in Portland downtown also. And, if you're not super familiar with the area, then it's a little challenging. You have to be on hyper alert, and you're caught in a lane, and it's like, oh, you have to turn right.
And then sometimes you end up going back on the freeway. Little did you know that was your only option.
Fortunately, we didn't have to do that this time. But, and Portland's downtown is like 1 compared to the LA downtown, which is a 10 in terms of gnarliness. But so that was great.
It's like 6 lanes versus 2 to 3.
So we're driving in Portland's downtown, which is so tame and light.
And it's beautiful. It's clean. Well, parts of it, right?
Yeah. But once we get caught in the realization that, oh, there's construction and blocked off, and now we have to force to turn, right, just to keep trying to stay in the area of this bakery that we're trying to get to. And there's no street parking. Once I realized that, what?
But we got into mode because our bodies knew how to handle this.
Yeah.
Our LA-ness came out and we were like, okay, we sat up straight. We started looking.
Not messing around.
We were like, we can do this. We're equipped.
And then once we saw that, okay, street parking, all the lots are taken, the one-way streets are starting to come into effect. At that point, it was like, you know what? I'm just going to yank the steering wheel into the first public parking lot that we see. Mm-hmm. So I do that. And
there's one stall available in that tiny little lot.
I was like, that's mine.
Yeah.
And I do see that there is an electronic kiosk to pay for your parking there. And I'm like prepared to use it. I know our license plate number, I know how this goes. But then we walk up to there, and you know how there's a readout, there's a panel, a screen on the electronic kiosk, and with the glare of the sun, you can't even read it. And I wasn't sure if that was what was happening or if it was just not on. Well, it turns out it was just not on. So it's just blank. And there are signs adjacent to the kiosk. They should have put the sign on the screen.
Yeah.
But no, it's adjacent to the kiosk, and the sign says to download an app in order to pay for your parking. And as soon as I saw that sign,
I knew it. You lost it a little.
Internally, I just made a note of like, all of this whole incident we're going to talk about this on the podcast. I knew.
And the thing too is when you're standing there at the kiosk, there's so much stuff to read. The kiosk has all these notes on it. The sides of it have things to read. There's all kinds of signs because of the business we're at. And then you're trying to look for the sign that pertains to this kiosk, hoping there is a sign.
You have to be
because everything you're reading on the kiosk doesn't help you. Right? So anyways, toast, I can tell. I'm like, oh no.
So as soon as I see that, I was like, okay, I'm this is what you got to do. You got to download the app. And I also thought, right now, like start the timer now, because how many hundreds of times longer is this going to take than it would have taken to just put a damn quarter in a parking meter and just go brink, and that's it. Walk away.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was interesting. So, the technology worked.
Yeah. So Toast is downloading her app.
Download the app.
But then her phone doesn't recognize her face because she has a mask on. So then she's ripping her mask. She's ripping her double mask off.
I'm mumbling to start swear words as I pull down the mask like a couple of times.
And
to set up passwords and
so I'm here, right? We were driving. The day started with driving over to Petunia's, feeling pretty happy. I feel pretty happy. I'm like, yay, because I'm taking some time off, so I feel pretty happy. But I'm witnessing Toast, just increasingly getting more and more irritated. From the long line at Petunia's, from the street closures, from the little lot we turned into, the last lonely stall, from the kiosk and nothing on the screen, to finding the sign and then going an app, then doesn't recognize her face. I mean, I'm seeing all of this happen. And then she's so the app, she installs the app. We're almost home.
I create the account.
Yeah, create the account. And then it's time for the credit card. And I just knew, because I could see her, and it's very rare that Toast is the cool cucumber in this house. She's the cool cucumber. But today was not a cool cucumber day. So I'm like, I got to be the cool cucumber. so I just grabbed the phone, took over, because I'm like, I can do this so fast, easy. I have a system because I shop online. I shop from my phone. I can do this.
Sienna has developed that skill, and that skill of online shopping from her iPhone came in very handy. Because, yeah, when it came to the credit card,
that was it for you. Like, you're what? Like, that is it.
You mean I can't just put a quarter into this?
Anyways, so that was our little ordeal. But
first world problems.
Yes, and there really is so much to celebrate. And the cake was great. The cake was fantastic. I will be making Toast some strawberry shortcake cupcakes this weekend, so excited for that. Some other news: we have been doing a little bit more music since the pandemic, but we will be participating in the Gaithersburg Ook Fest, which is on June 12th.
So check it out. Just go to gaithersburgookfest.com. We'll have the link in the notes. Mm-hmm. And of course, especially if you like ook, it's really intriguing. And also, they've had people from all over the world, like literally from all over the world and other continents and stuff, which is something that has been an unexpected positive, I would say, of the pandemic and the lockdowns we've all been in. I mean, literally around the world. Mm-hmm. So I know that myself, we wouldn't have been participating in these types of things if it hadn't been for the pandemic. And while, of course, in-person gatherings are fantastic and wonderful, and we want to do that, it's healthy, it's good. I got to say, there's also something to be said for being aware of your fellow human beings in other time zones too. Yeah. And just having a greater awareness that, we all really do affect each other, even though we are distant.
Yep. So anyways, I don't know how many of you are already out there and have rejoined society in a big way.
In a physical, close way.
But we have not yet. We have been dipping our toe in the water. We are sort of getting our energy reserves up in order to rejoin in that more physical way. I feel so about it all. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's valid. And I think that's another healthy awareness and realization and thing to be open about even in our public life, like talking with each other about how we really feel about socializing and all of that stuff, making conscious choices and stuff, instead of just being like, oh, how are you? Oh, fine. You know what I mean? Like being more real about it.
Yeah. I think that, I know, there's never been a time like this pandemic.
Correct.
Right? For us in our living experience, right? There's never been that time. So,
and for 3 generations at least before us too.
So to experience what it feels like to be in a cave and I'm speaking from an empath introvert perspective.
Okay.
Well, my own empath introvert perspective, to actually experience what that's like. I will say for myself that it was really rejuvenating, and it felt very safe. And I'm not talking about pandemic safe, right? Not safety,
Not disease safe.
Yeah, just more like emotionally safe and protected on that emotional level. And so to actually experience that, because when would I have experienced that otherwise?
Yeah. When do you have?
I would have. Yeah. When could I have?
The
right?
social, not just the social permission, but the social encouragement.
Yeah.
To just keep to yourself.
Right. Yeah. So it was a good experience for me. And I think it was, it also helped me to fill my well, to actually feel more creative. Mm. But if you've been listening to the podcast and you heard the DMV episode, then when I was out there, it was like, it just felt like needles, just just being out there in the energy. Mm. So I am hesitant, but I also know that I can't live in this bubble.
That's not healthy either.
Right. Connection is so important to healing, to one's ultimate health. Connection is a huge factor in actually healing your physical being if you're suffering from certain health ailments, but also longevity. You feel happier. I mean, there's so many things connected to the power of human connection, like in-person connection. Yeah. And so I know it's not good for me to just stay in this safe little bubble. So I'm game. I'm going to be back out there. I'm not just going to stay in this bubble. Of course not. But I know for myself, I need to start slowly.
Yes.
Yes. Like not just accept an invitation to go to a concert.
With hundreds of people around.
As my second outing after the DMV. I have to know my capacity. Like, what's my capacity?
In terms of,
like prior
not just the amount
to
of people, but the length of time that you're out there, you mean?
Length of time, yeah. Because prior to the pandemic, I feel like my capacity was around 3 to 4 hours before I really start to feel drained. And this is with maybe like 2 to 4 people.
I see.
That's max. Like, that's like, okay, bye. I don't think it's at that anymore, so maybe start with 1 hour, 2 hour.
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
And then really refreshing my, protective energy tools, like the energy bubble, maybe using some of our aromatherapy and flower essences for protection, like just kind of looking back at the tools I used to use.
Mm-hmm. And, I think we also need to acknowledge that for highly sensitive people and empaths, because they're different, right? I don't know the exact difference, but the fact that we're coming out of over a year of lockdowns and global pandemic and stuff, there's just a whole layer of psychological stress or worry, anxiety about being with other people, period. Just because of airborne, like, so even if intellectually, you might be like, oh no, it's actually safe.
Yeah.
There's, again, in human nature, it's not just, you can't just make a switch, so I think there's that.
I was watching an Instagram story of this person that I follow.
Okay.
And he needed to get from point A to point B for a speaking engagement. He was one of the speakers there. And he was on his flight. People are boarding the plane. One woman, so everyone's on the plane. One woman refused to put her mask on.
Oh, boy.
Is this too sensitive to talk about?
No.
Okay, one woman refused to put her mask on the airplane, and they were just arguing back and forth on the plane.
Who's they?
The flight attendants, soon the captain, and this woman who would not leave the plane nor put her mask on.
Wow.
While people are all on the plane.
Wow.
So they actually, the plane, it was actually delayed 50 minutes in total.
5-0?
5-0, because they had to have everyone, the protocol for the airlines, they had to have everyone off. Everyone had to now deplane.
What?
So they could clean and get it good again.
Oh my God.
And that woman was not allowed back on the airplane.
How did she even get on board?
I don't know. I was, this is all through an Instagram story, but
yeah,
I was just like, wow. And he missed his, speaking engagement.
And what happened to everybody else who also have their lives that, they planned this trip?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But what I loved is the, part of the story included the captain apologizing to everyone, but really talking about safety. And I appreciated his words because it felt very calming. It felt very calming. Wow. And just like,
it's very impressive.
We'll get through this. Everyone, we're so close to it. We still have to follow some protocols. It's for everyone's safety. We don't know everything yet. And, so I appreciate your cooperation. And I was just like, that would really calm me if I started to get all upset about it.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
And then coming from the captain, I loved that. So anyways, just wanted to share that and what makes us feel connected and not. And society.
So many thoughts.
Anyways, it looks like you have a few things.
Well,
to
one
say,
of my thoughts was, in my imagination, a person who would refuse to wear a mask like that, would be exiled from the tribe, and left out in the wilderness to try and fend for themselves.
Okay,
that's what would happen in my imagination. Before.
If we were back to being in our indigenous tribes, is that what you mean?
Yeah, maybe before the agricultural revolution, even, or maybe during the agricultural revolution.
Okay.
I don't know.
So not that far.
But you know
not
what I mean?
Like
just in terms of human beings as a species, it's like you're gonna be like that.
I think as a tribe, you would wear your mask. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
We're so silly. Okay.
You gotta laugh. Sometimes you gotta laugh. I don't know how many times I've said that this whole past 5 years.
5 years?
Don't get me started on the Trump years.
5 years. Okay.
Oh my God.
So all of this to say that even if you have been one of the people like myself who have felt just safer and has had more energy being in this quarantine bubble, get out there. Stretch
at your own
yourself.
pace.
Yes, but definitely at your own pace. Take your time. But definitely plan in your schedule moments to get out there that feel safe to you, and again, maybe start with the local coffee shop. Go and get yourself a coffee just to be around maybe 6 people, Maybe your next level might be farmer's market. Outdoors, a little more people, looking at goods made by your neighbors and local artisans. Maybe that's the next thing. And then when you're doing things with your friends, maybe start with the one friend versus, your group of 6. Just go at your own pace. Stay as long as it as your energy capacity allows.
Yeah, and have that, and that's totally okay. In fact, it's
so
preferable.
Okay, my gosh.
What a gift this reset of a historic pandemic is. Really. Let's not blow it. Let's take the opportunity to make some really conscious, considered choices about how we spend our time, who we spend our time with, what we spend our time doing with them. Like, what a great excuse we have to set a new normal that's more life supporting, that doesn't come out of just purely feelings of obligation only.
Right.
You know, it's
And
great.
for our extrovert friends, who I know you guys are already out there, have at it. Have at it. Just still stay safe. You know?
Yeah, because it's still
safe.
not over.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, this is Sienna.
And this is Toast. As always, reminding you, encouraging you to live your love story.